Alright, I'm gonna talk over a little bit about our healer build, like our healer guy. So that's a build pretty much. Future with Future Initiative, 4-piece with Empathic Alps brand for like more repair skills. It's like a combination of repair skills as attributes and repair skills mods within some skill haste here and there. So on the chest piece you can have both repair and skill haste. Same for the BTSU gloves. Blue core doesn't really matter here, but like if you're running technician and we want technician for escalation, I will say in a second why. You have two options. You can either run full yellow or you can put one blue. It doesn't really matter in escalation because they will one-shot you anyway. Healing hive, healing mod, duration, and repair charges, and same for chem launcher, 1 ammo and heal bonus. Ideally sweet dreams, so every 15 seconds you can melee take out one non-elite enemy. It is a little bit tricky because sweet dreams is hitting for, it technically says you can melee kill, but sweet dreams is doing damage of 99 million, so if enemy has more than 99 he might not die. And during escalation you have some enemies with like damage resistance, and this might scale with their health. So sometimes you might not be able to take out one guy, but it's very helpful. Most of times you will, like a red or purple. And we're running also GR9 with Reformation for like headshots grants 60% skill repair for 15 seconds. GR9 pretty much because of the highest mag weapon, and you just only need to proc headshots, so like to not reload too much. Quick step just for like equipment movement, that's not required. The second option of it, so like BTS is just for overcharge every 2 minutes, so you're overcharging skills of your allies, so you can use pulse for example for extra damage. Pulse on overcharge, 200 effect duration, but you and your allies damage is amplified by 15% to pulse targets. Pretty much every skill, if you would go for it, it has like much increased abilities on overcharge. If you throw decoy, it stays up longer. It has like bigger threat, so it attracts enemies more as well. So that's very important. And our healer is usually hot swapping, so like once you overcharge, he will hot swap to like Future Gloves and then Birdie Backpack. And this backpack is very useful for fast reviving people. You have like plus 80% revive speed. So if anyone is down, you can basically just one tap revive people. You don't need to like wait like 10 seconds to revive. It's very clutch. If you'd like to get backpack like this, you need to go here and you need to do this mission on Alani Kelso Master. So like the master mission completion. If you've never done this mission before, first completion guarantees you the exotic from the mission. So the exotic is Birdie Backpack. If you've done it already, then it's RNG drop. But basically the first completion ever gives you guaranteed drop. And this is a second variation of support build that we run. This one for Liberty Island mission, the Keener in New York. This is a measured assembly set. 4-piece with Empathic Resolve chest piece. Everything will be rolled to repair skills. This is basically another healer build. The advantage of measured assembly set is that it can intercept hostile skills. So basically everything that will go in a range of hive, it will get destroyed. Very important here is to run a backpack of the set, because backpack decreases the cooldown for destroying mortars and enemy skills from 10 to 1 second. It's very useful for the room just before the boss room on Liberty Island and the boss room itself. It doesn't have it. Okay, it is no. Okay, I see.
2 minutes. Tell me, Sharky, I sleep slowly. I think it would.
I thought it has
Mr.
some
Advisor,
downtime or something, but I guess.
Yeah, he's running backpack, that's why.
Okay, one more thing. So I'm gonna say a little bit about hot swaps. So like if I go to inventory, I press X, and like most of people, like by default, they have like a list like that, right? It is making it a little bit harder. Like I mean, your list will show like this pretty much. What you can try is if you go here, you can switch to grid list. So you'll see items like 2 per row. And also if you, here's like a sorting, so I have my list sorted by favorite, so I can find easier items. I only keep favorite items that I'm about to swap. So if you see, like if I go to like mask, if I go to backpack, I have only backpacks, but if you go here to this icon, you'll see all your items together. So that way you can hot swap like a whole build, for example. Like if you have favorite some parts of, like, let's say one part of each section, you will see here like a mask, gloves, etc, etc. With hot swaps for this build, you just basically, so I go here, I have only like favorite these gloves that I need and the BTSU, so I always will see them on top. So that way I can just really quick do it. Then when I need to come back, it's just like about muscle memory, kind of like reminding where is the slots. But you pretty much want items with the star, so like favorite items, only the ones that you're gonna swap. If I would have everything with like favorite here, sure, it protects me from deconstructing those items by accident, but at the same time you will see like everything together on top. So it's up to you if you want to do it like that faster, but it is just, you know, like if you unfavorite your items, just make sure to don't deconstruct them by accident. Just always pay attention to what you're deconstructing. Another thing, there's something in the game like fast overcharge. Two ways to overcharge. So for those who doesn't know how it works, you need a BTSU gloves, and when you break your hive, so when I, like my hive is under Q button, so when I hold it like over like 3 seconds, it will break it, right? But there's like faster way to do it, and it needs to do some settings. So like if you go to settings, key mapping, and you'll see here, so like agent skill 1 is like I have one under Q, one under E. This is like default on PC. There's also something called instant use skill. So like you can set an instant skill use for like one skill and this for the other. I set it only for one skill because I only really need it for the hive. So I always have like all my loadouts, when I have like something like hive for overcharge, I always save it in this spot. So this is like under my Q button to make it work. And you basically need like one extra button to match it. I just set it on scroll mouse button because like I will not accidentally press it, if that makes sense. How it's gonna work, you're just still gonna hold Q to break, and then you're gonna press this once and it will automatically overcharge. So if without insta I would just have to hold. For insta we're just gonna hold and press mouse button, and then it just instantly breaks it. You don't need to wait all the time. BTSU is very useful because beside overcharging skills, it also resets cooldown. So like every time, let's say your friends go down and they use revive hives, you can just overcharge every 2 minutes and refresh the duration. After I overcharged, you can pretty much just like swap to birdies, because we are anyway on 2 minutes cooldown for BTSU, so you might already be like ready to revive people if needed, if that makes sense. Once BTSU, so like this icon on the left, like first one from the left, when this overcharge is out of cooldown, you can pretty much go back, like switch to the BTSU, like get ready to overcharge again, or on call, depends like when you're starting the room or something. One more thing, so one of the annoying stuff in Escalation is hotfoot mutator. So if you stay in the same spot for too long, a charge counter begins to fill. When it reaches maximum, you are shocked and take damage. So one thing to kind of skip it is to either you just be moving all the time, or if you like holding the ground in a certain position, is having a healer with technician. So if I throw a hive, you see there's a kind of like a blue link between me and a hive, and this link is like in a 5-meter range. So in 5-meter range you stay near the hive, you're not gonna get shocked. This is thanks to something called Faraday field. It's a passive buff from technician. That's why it's important, so we run technician on this build for escalation. Party members within 5 meters of your deployed and undisrupted skills are immune to shock and disruption. So if you stay in one place with your team close to the hive, you will not get shocked. Like, I mean, it will not stagger you. You will still get damage. It says here like you're taking damage, but as this guy is a healer, you'll get healed again. So Ideally for escalation, just run technician. There's also like option here, so you can also put like more skills. So there's option for like skill damage and skill healing. So you want this one for like even more healing. This is the build I'm currently running in tier 10 and below. This is the build I was running yesterday when we beat the army terminal tier 10 without modifiers, so like without seasonal modifiers. I'll try to explain some choices of mine. Some of them based purely on augments and what my gear rolled into proto. So let's go first about like roles my build got into. So I'm running Holowman for this like health damage stat. Striker chest piece rolled to weapon damage. Striker holster rolled to critical hit damage with the atomize augment for like grenade radius. Striker knee pads crit chance, gloves for like weapon damage, and Ceska backpack vigilance to crit damage. Ideally, for like a max DPS, I would like augment echo, so like every bullet fired has a chance to deal its damage twice. Unlucky for me, I rolled my items already a few times and I didn't get what I wanted, so for now I just stick to something like, for example, atomize. Increases grenade radius and damage by 12.5 as a stock value, so that's pretty decent. I have like 2 of those at the moment. Synesthesia, which like provides chance to reduce skill cooldowns, I guess could be also useful, but I don't think it's like 2.5 chance is like a lot to proc. Maybe this one with like random status effect, even less chance. But ideally, I'm aiming for like echo everywhere. But for now, I just stick to what I got. On my build, I'm also running crossbow, so like survivalist specialization, mainly because crossbow is very useful to break chungas and tanks armor. So without like spending few good seconds or like up to half a minute sometimes to break like chunga armor, I just crossbow him and it high likely break him, or at least he will be like almost broken, you know.
It is boss.
Yeah, throw a crossbow at him.
He's fully broken.
I usually try to aim for chest, so it's just easier. Sometimes like depends what chunga position, so it might break his arms. So like to make it more consistent, ideally would like to hit him from the back. This will high likely be breaking chest 100%. I'm also running crossbow specialization for fire nades, so I can toss them on some doors and keep enemies stuck at the one place, or like CC so they don't shoot us and we can shoot them. And this basically this atomize augment pretty much works really well with it. The range is kinda nice. It's like my main gun is pretty much the military MK46. The reason to it and not using GR9 is because of the mag. For the GR9, you would like once you proc frenzy, you will need to just pretty much continuously shooting somewhere around the mag end that the frenzy will be ready. The problem with it is that like in escalation, enemies hiding a lot, and sometimes you will be not able to hit them. So like trying to empty your mag for next frenzy, you're just wasting bullets. That's the reason why most of people running MK46, because it's like second best DPS option and like the best from like lower mag LMG. So like having like 135 bullets, you can do some breaks and you will be able still to proc frenzy pretty much in the end of the mag. So that's what we're running. Mine one rolled to damage to armor. Alongside LMG, I switched to the Bighorn. Before I was running Lexington with back and forth, which is like a new talent added in this update. Swapping to the weapon grants 10% rate of fire and 9% weapon damage. The reason for me to run this over Killer, so Killer is like killing an enemy with a critical hit grants 70% critical hit damage. If you're running solo or you're running like duo, I guess, maybe even trio, the enemies health and armor are less, so it might be easier to proc Killer. We mostly run in a full group, and what it means, we're just all trying to kill them as soon as possible. You don't really care of like who get a kill, you know. Proccing killer will be extremely hard on very tanky enemies. So I was running before back and forth, but it also like it's not really like a hard talent to proc. You just need to switch to the gun. Like once you switch to the gun, you get the talent running. Once you switch off to it, it will refresh, but it's like second buff. So once you switch to the gun, you get this. Once you swap to Bighorn, you will get this. And once you swap back to Lexington, you will get this again. But it's also like a conditional. It was working pretty well, but I was looking still for something that makes more damage, and that's pretty much Bighorn. How my build is set pretty much, it's just so I can swap to Birdie. That's also like some few friends are doing the same thing. So there's sometimes situations when your healer might be downed and someone need to pick him up, you know, so to not lose the striker stacks. So like 4-piece striker for the damage, and so I can swap to this real quick. Get whoever needs a help up.
Okay. Doesn't get eco. No, fuck.
I'm coming.
Doesn't get eco.
On the back behind us.
Bad. He's super low. Oh shit. I'm also super low.
I got him.
Glenn, pick me up. I'll pick up
Faraday
Glenn as well.
Sure. Oh, that son of...
No, it's so good.
I'm depassing, Shork. I will suppress for you.
I throw a decoy there and behind.
Good.
And then I go back to Ceska. Why Ceska? Because we have like a critical hit chance buff, and this is pretty much critical hit chance, critical hit damage build. And this will be like a fixed part for the build. The rest you can just pretty much stack your chance and damage in mods itself. If you go to stats, just make sure that your critical hit chance is sitting somewhere close to 60%. I usually like to say 54 is like a sweet spot. But for example, on Bighorn, because Exotics has like fixed mods, you don't have really like crit chance on Bighorn. You have like accuracy, stability, reload, and headshot. So this gun is lacking a lot of crit chance. So if you want to run a Bighorn for a crit build, you need to stack a little bit more. Usually when I enter the room, I also didn't do it like this in every room. Tried it when I could, when it was kind of safe and friends were closer. So once I would enter the room, I was swapping to ACS. Optionally, you could also go for like stack broker. So you have basically like higher RPM. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna like stack striker. Stack striker for the damage. Then I'm gonna go back to like Bighorn. I'm just gonna show first like the damage difference. So I'm gonna proc killer on my Lexington. Now I have a killer, and now you'll see the damage for like headshots for Lexington on this build. So it's like going up to like 2.236 million. If I go for the same thing on this Lexington with back and forth, for example, so I'm gonna swap here to like get the max buff, the max damage on this one without like killer but back and forth, it's like 1.9 million. So it is like just 300k below killer, so it's not that bad. Like in terms of like killer is very conditional, but this one is just like 300k below, so it's like not that bad actually. But if I go Bighorn, for example, on the same build, let me drop the stacks first. So I'm gonna try to get my striker out caliper. And if you see now, like even without many stacks on Bighorn, it is already hitting harder than Lexington in any scenario. So that was like the main reason I switched to Bighorn. So I have something more, making more impact on enemies that pushing us. The thing with this gun is like that it's strongest if you are able to hit headshots, and it's not conditional gun. You only get damage as you are able to hit more headshots. So like even without that buff, it's already pretty nuts at the start. But that was like a main change for like no modifiers run, but I'll probably stick to it overall. This was the gun, so like GR9 health damage, that was the gun that I was using for the drone kill in the end. So like in the end of the army terminal, you have a big marauder drone on the sky. And so I used the GR9 frenzy with health damage on it. One thing good to mention is, so like, you can prep this area, right? So you can either do it at the start of the mission, if you're gonna use this gun only for the end of the run. You can also prep it like in the boss room, basically. So what I did there was I just prepped it in the boss room while trying to kill some ads. Once you zero it, you just switch to the other gun. So if you see, I'm trying to reload, but I cancel it. If you swap that gun to something else, it's like basically I'm swapping to have this other gun ready. Like this gun will stay at 0 bullets. So I will use like this one for a meantime. Once we get to like a marauder drone, I just swap to this gun and it's 0. And I can just straight away go with frenzy. So that's what you can do also to like prepare yourself for insta damage. And as you see, like I'm shooting continuously, and that's when like about like 20 bullets left, the frenzy is already gone. So that's also the reason I was trying to say earlier. That's the reason why we're using this gun mostly for DPS otherwise, because the mag of this gun is too big to keep the frenzy like almost full up. And in some rooms that enemies will be hiding 24/7, you will have big problem. You will run out of ammo. Like you kind of like want to empty this gun every time to get that massive buff of damage. If you're not able, you'll be losing a lot. So that's the main reason we're running this gun instead. Some of other guns I still keep like a favorite because it's like a parts of different loadouts. But like in case you run out of ammo, SMG9 is pretty decent still. Stack broker for like or ACS 12, like if you don't have the stack broker, is just pretty much for stacking striker, because like you might the biggest damage you'll have when striker is full, right? So shooting enemies with like LMG, if there's like open wide, it will still take a while, you know, to pull it. But like if you have something like ACS and you can push some ads without like really exposing yourself for like damage or something, you can just with 2 mag put the striker, like fill the striker full, and then swap back to your main guns and just continue the damage. For the end, different specialization. That's also worth to mention. Most of people, when you're running like something like a striker builds, you're gonna run gunner. In our setup, we run 1 gunner because of mostly foam nade, so you can take out some annoying enemies hiding behind cover with like a foam nade. I was running crossbow for the, so like I can crossbow the tank, break his chest, and we can mow him down easier. Also for the fire nade, so I can CC enemies indoors. Healer was running technician for Faraday and shock resistance, and like basically BTSU healing, like empathic for more damage. So this one more weapon damage for like skill repair. And the last guy was running demo specialization. Group members gain 5% damage out of cover. He will also be able to survive like 1 explosion. It's not really like much important, but you have also like some fire resistance, like demo give you like burn resistance 20%. I don't think it's like a huge enough for escalation, but you know, it's also something like from the raids. So I would say also pay attention to specialization, because you can get extra abilities during the run, and it also will feel some lack of damage on your builds. Another variation of DPS build, 4-piece striker with contractor gloves for more optimized LMG damage. Ceska backpack with vigilance, same reason to my build, for easier birdie hot swap, just in case we need it. Another variation of DPS build, 4-piece striker with also Ceska backpack for easier birdie swap, in case we need it. Contractor gloves for more optimized LMG damage. Both of guys are running Sweet Dreams shotgun as secondary. This is for to easier take out purple and red enemies. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. If you have any questions, you can join our Discord or ask me in the comments below.